These videos are brought to you by G66UK, and that's the place to get your FM3, FM9 or FX3 or VP4 in the UK with no waitlist. I kind of wanted to do a video today. I think there's this idea that you have to spend ages creating presets, or that things, you know, take a while to get sounded good and stuff like that. I wanted to see how quickly I could dial in a preset, and literally when I say dial in, I think this is the point that sometimes things don't need as much dialing in as you might think, because particularly in the fractal world, things just tend to sound pretty good. Literally, I just on the floor just dialed this thing in on the unit itself. I need to stop saying dialed it in. Built this preset, and I wanted to talk you through it and some of the choices, but also sort of just encourage you that some of these things, you know, just try experimenting and seeing, you know, what these things sound like without really doing too much tweaking. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. And also on a gig the other day, we in the band decided that I'd use an acoustic guitar for the first dance, and it was a similar sort of situation where it's like, can I quickly pull up something to make this sound acceptable? And you absolutely can. And I would encourage you, if you've not started using the actual unit itself, editing on the unit, it is quite logical if you start using it. In these videos, I tend to use the editor because I've been asked to, but prior to that, I was making videos using the actual editor itself on the units, whether that's FM3 or FM9. I think it makes sense if you're wanting to gig these things to get that under your belt as well. So, 1 minute Princeton. So the idea that I had with this preset was that I wanted to just use a Princeton reverb, but keep it really simple because obviously time constraints. And so what I decided was that Nobel's ODR1 would be a good choice. See the settings there. All I did was kind of push the level up a bit, 6.51, and bring the drive down to 3.53. That I kicked on for the solo. Then I'm using the Prince Tone reverb, and I didn't touch anything on this. So this is just an amp block, as you see. Pull it up. Then this is a real time saver for me, is that I know that there's one particular cab that I like to use for a lot of stuff. Now, if you're on the channel, I'm sure you've seen a bunch of Leon Todd stuff. Leon has his own IR that he tends to use a lot. For me, Legacy Cab 103, this 4x12 basket weave TV mix works really well for me. So this is kind of like, in a pinch, this is what I would go for. I think Leon has also spoken about on his own personal channel how this could be one way that you actually have more consistent sound across presets. Keeping the cab the same is totally a valid way to build stuff. Then just pulled up a large plate, brought the mix down by 1%, and what you end up getting is just a really pretty kick on the drive. Touch responsive. So, like, as a starting point, you really don't need to go crazy with this stuff. It's like, let's just try this actually. I did a video the other day about, you know, just quickly building presets by just changing one block at a time. Yeah, okay, nice. How does that respond to that drive? Nice, and you're getting like differences between, obviously, how these things sound. What if we went to a scene 3? Maybe that one's a bit too bright in this context. You know, I'm like guilty for sure of putting like delay on everything and all that sort of stuff, you know, but just enjoy some of the purity of some of this stuff. Keeping that cap the same and just checking these things out. There's some great tones to be found in here. Nice, let's go with that. But yeah, so that's basically just what I wanted to kind of just experiment with, was, you know, quickly building presets, and even without the software, without the editor, can you build something quickly without the editor in a pinch that you dig the sound of? I think it's worth experimenting with. I'll catch you in another video soon. Drop this into the Gumroad folder. But yeah, I think these things sound so good, and there's such a like some element of rawness, but also that it feels like an amp or responds in such a different way to so many other modelers, that I think we should spend some time enjoying that purity and that aspect of it. Cheers for stopping by.